Hello, my galactic soul family. Welcome back. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Here's a quick introduction. My name is Gabbie, aka Witchy Vibes 11. And if you are watching this video or if you are listening to this video on another person's platform or on another platform in general, you can find more of my videos on YouTube under Witchy Vibes 11. Also, if you're on Instagram, you can also find me under the same name, Witchy Vibes 11. Now, I am a spiritual coach. I'm here to help guide you through your awakening, and I'm also an intuitive empath. Confirmation from spirit, you guys. You heard that ding? So, tonight I want to talk to you guys about the hermit phase. I spoke briefly about this in my last video that I did. On the title of the video that I just recently posted a few days ago was called The Dark Night of the Soul, Signs and How to Cope. Now, I did mention the hermit phase in that video, and I have talked about this in older videos. However, there are many people that are very new to this awakening process, and they have no idea what we in the spiritual community call hermit phase. They have no idea what that even means. So there's a lot of new souls that are currently waking up and coming online, and they're searching the web for answers because they're having all these strange symptoms and they're experiencing all this strange stuff in their life because they are going through their awakening. Actually, this whole thing with the virus has pushed a lot of people to wake up. It has been a trigger to wake them up. So, welcome to your path. Chances are, if you found my channel, you are a part of our soul family. And I say our soul family because a lot of people that are subscribed to this channel are very active on this channel, and they tend to comment down below. We have a little community. We talk to each other. There are other people that are subscribed to my channel that actually have their own YouTube channel, and they too are spiritual coaches in their own right. And you will get to know them the longer you are following me. And the quickest way to get to know them is by introducing yourself down below in the comments area. Okay, so let's get started. Now, during a spiritual awakening, most of us will find that our outer life will pause for a while. It will be put on pause. And we're not interested in doing anything. And I'm talking, pre-COVID, but I'm also talking during this whole COVID. Okay, so this hermit phase is actually happening to a lot more people during this whole thing with the virus, but these things also happened, pre-virus. When we were able to, pre-virus means when we were able to do anything, so we had a choice if we wanted to do something or we didn't want to do anything. Now a lot of us don't really have a choice of what we can and can't do because a lot of us are on lockdown. So we were pushed into the hermit phase, kind of. Okay, I feel a bunch of people were forced into the hermit phase due to the COVID, and it's actually a very beautiful thing, honestly. I know a lot of people are not happy about being quarantined, but something really beautiful is happening while you are being put into quarantine. Okay, this quarantine is a blessing in disguise. That is why so many people are waking up. That's the blessing. You're waking up. You're realizing that you are divine. COVID actually slowed you guys down, a lot of you that are new. It slowed you down. Normally, people are on the go, 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 thinking about work, thinking about money, thinking about their title, their status. They're thinking about going out clubbing and dancing and, all this stuff. If you have kids, you were probably planning, a shit ton of outings that you most likely did not want to go on, so often, kind of like, going to the zoo every Monday and, Thursday, or, going to the park on Wednesdays and Fridays for the 100,000th time, So this COVID kind of gave you a break from having to leave your house. I know it's nice to get out and bring your children places, but sometimes you're just not in the mood. And when they're used to a schedule like that, it's like, hey, I want to go to the park. And pre-COVID, you kind of were, obligated to take them there and you had to do it. But now that you are on quarantine, you kind of have an excuse to be home and find other things, to do, to get creative, to work your mind out. So now that the world has slowed down, many people are vibrating in a frequency where they can hear themselves think, they can hear their thoughts, and they are in a frequency that allows them to acknowledge what's going on around them. Their awareness has expanded. Therefore, the hermit phase has kicked in. And if it hasn't kicked in, it's going to. It's going to kick in. You're in the hermit phase no matter what. If you're in COVID, you're in the hermit phase. You are locked up and you're sick and tired of it. So you're in the hermit phase. Relationships, they start to crumble when you enter the hermit phase. Relationships crumble and they start disappearing left and right. You start losing contact with friends. Some people even started losing contacts with their families. Some people had a really close relationship to their families. Like maybe they did Sunday dinners with their parents and grandparents. Maybe they have a big family, aunts, uncles, and all that, and everybody got together with their friends and, the whole entire family, including friends, old, longtime friends, childhood friends. And now that this virus came around, nobody really wants to come around because nobody wants to, chance if they're going to get this virus or not, right? At least here in New York, that's how a lot of people, treat each other. They treat each other like they have leprosy. They're very infected. They're scared. So they lock themselves up in the home. So now that these people are locked up, a lot of these relationships are starting to crumble and a lot of their friends are starting to disappear. And even some of their family is starting to disappear. Not like disappear, die, but disappear in losing contact because, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So you start to lose a lot of relationships with friends and family. We may even lose or quit our job and remain unemployed for a long period of time as we enter the hermit phase. Actually, this is probably just happening to a lot of people due to COVID. I'm not going to keep repeating that, but COVID does play a big role in a lot of this. That's why I say that COVID actually pushed the collective into this hermit phase. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to talk about hermit going forward. So essentially, our outer life is completely falling apart because of the hermit phase. Right now, due to this virus, lots of us have no choice. Either way, it's a blessing. Take this time and allow it to show you who you are, what you are, what the world is, who the world is, and allow it to teach you. We are always on the go, and time is a blessing in this realm, in the earth realm, in this 3D matrix. Time is a blessing for a lot of people because so many people are on the go, 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 and they always say, I have no time, I have no time, I gotta do this, I gotta go to work, I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I have no time. So when you actually have time to do something, it's a blessing. You have time to rest, You have time to go to a party. You have time to meet up with your friends. You have time to meet with your family. So when you have time to do something, it's actually considered a blessing. The hermit phase is allowing time to heal you by slowing it down for you. Our old self is dying, and who we are becoming isn't very clear yet. So we remain in the limbo phase, or we remain in the void, sitting in the nothingness. The phase of, or not the phase, but the process of spiritual awakening and the dark night of the soul that I'm describing is referred to as the hermit phase. So this hermit phase will affect you when you are going through a dark night of the soul. This hermit phase will also affect you at certain points of your awakening. Your awakening will actually push you into a dark night of the soul. You will go into more than one dark night of the soul as you reach different levels of your spiritual awakening. And currently, the whole world has been pushed into the dark night of the soul, or been pushed into a mass awakening, causing everybody to go through some sort of a hermit phase. When we are in the depths of the hermit phase, we can begin feeling like we're falling into an oblivion, never, ever, ever to come out. Of course, these are just illusions that cause delusions. Your ego, your human, is confused and scared. It's scared out of its mind. It's because time slowed down so much in a physical way for you. You don't know what to do with yourself. You're lost. You feel lost. And that happens to you when you go through a dark night of the soul, because when you go through a dark night of the soul, something huge is changing in your life. Maybe a divorce, a breakup, an eviction, something big. Maybe something horrible happened to you. Maybe your house caught on fire in the middle of winter and you're pushed out and you have nowhere to go and you have to stay in one of those FEMA camps. Or, I mean, that's worst case scenario. Or maybe you lost your job and your job is everything to you because you're the head of the household. I mean, the dark night of the soul is no joke, you guys. And I did a video on this. If you want to know more about the dark night, I will post a link down below. But it doesn't have to be that horrible. I mean, it could just be anything that changes that would change your whole world. Okay. Also, at certain points of your awakening, you go through these these shifts, you know. And now that we're going through this whole worldwide shutdown, you feel lost because you can't do what you normally do. And a lot of countries are on lockdown where they really can't even leave their house and go for a walk. You know, at least here in New York, we can do certain things. I'm in Western New York. Some restaurants are still closed. Some are open for, takeout only, but there are a few that are open for dine-in. But, there's not, like the movie theaters aren't open. Um, a lot of the museums are not open. There's a lot of things that are still shut down for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are still working from home. So the world is definitely not back to normal. And, I'm not one of the people that wear masks. So when I go out in public, people treat me like I have leprosy. You know, they move, if I'm walking, they will cross the street. It is insane. But yeah, so if you're going through a different level in your awakening, or if you're going through the dark night of the soul, you're probably feeling lost. If you're on lockdown, you're probably feeling lost because, time slowed down so much for you in a physical way. You really just don't know what to do with yourself. Normally, we are on schedules and have time limits, and we live by the clock. and you are normally in a vibration that puts you in the frequency of the third dimension, which essentially is a slow dimension. But you live in that slow dimension and you never have any time and you're always on the go in a slow dimension, in a low vibration, in a frequency that is, I like to say it's a dirty frequency. It's a, I feel like it's a negative frequency, but that's my perspective. It's a frequency of duality, okay? Neutrality is your goal. So yeah, essentially, it's a slow dimension, okay? But when a soul awakens, you step outside of time. In a sense, time slows down for you, allowing awareness to expand. A short mind or a short attention span has your awareness restricted and blocked off to higher sources of power. These illusions that create delusions feel like real possibilities when we are in the abyss of an awakening or the dark night of the soul, or if you're in this lockdown, you're just feeling like you're so lost. You just don't know what to do with yourself and you're literally just in the abyss. Or you feel that way. A lot of you do. When we look at the hermit phase, all that nothingness is the hermit pointing to a time in space that life is bringing into our existence. When you are in this phase, you might try to fill this space with ego and ego desires. The frustrations, irritations, and loneliness that all of this space brings up within us can manifest in all sorts of desperate impulses and addictions as a way to escape how we are feeling. We may indulge in alcohol. We may indulge in sex to fill this space. We may indulge in drugs, the wrong relationships. We may find a job that we know isn't right for us, usually a job similar to one that we just left because it wasn't resonating with us and you were feeling unhappy, only for these cravings to leave us feeling more empty and lower than before. And then it makes you feel more depressed because you feel more empty and disappointed. You are not alone. I did all of the above, everything I just mentioned, in my first hermit phase, in my first conscious hermit phase. I indulged deeply in them. And I did it many times during the early waking years, during the time I was unconsciously aware. You know, I was waking up. I didn't know I was going through an awakening. But then, you know, you go through these different phases and then you become consciously aware and you still make some mistakes because you're human and you're not perfect and you're trying to adjust, you're trying to acclimate to the whole changes that you as a human are going through. So there's going to be a lot of things that you do that you're not going to be happy with yourself. And if you do, it's okay. As long as you don't stick in that low vibration and you don't stay in that energy and you become aware of what you're doing and you learn from your quote unquote mistakes, which they're really not mistakes, they're just learning curves. You have to learn how not to be so hard on yourself because you are human and you are learning and you are growing into your power. And it takes time, it takes practice because nobody taught us how to do this. We've been indoctrinated by the powers that be, and they kept all of this ancient knowledge from us. So we just have to figure it out ourselves. And that's why I make these videos, to help you, because you're not crazy. I know this you know, everything I did, I know what I didn't know what I was doing then, but I do know now, but back then I did not. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. But since I've been walking on my path and I've been on this journey for many years, consciously been on this journey for many years, I now know why I went through a lot of the things that I went through back then. I used to have a lot of regrets. However, today I have no regrets. All those bad choices to fill my ego desires were also lessons. They were blessings in disguise. You know, they're lessons, sick, twisted lessons that I learned a lot from. I don't beat myself up for those moments in life. I have no regrets. They were blessings, blessings in disguise. The hermit phase will help. It will help you discover that while our outer life may be at a standstill, our inner processing becomes hyper accelerated. Life is providing us a golden opportunity to work through the countless layers of false beliefs, traumas, and conditioning that we have accumulated through lifetimes of unconsciousness. And if you ever want to talk to me again, you can look for more of my videos on my YouTube channel under Witchy Vibes 11. You can also email me, touched.by.11.angels@gmail.com. So we've accumulated a lot of this through lifetimes of unconsciousness. So everyone's hermit phase is not the same emotionally, but it's similar. We have a lot of similarities. But nobody's journey is the same because this path is individual. So everyone's hermit phase is not the same emotionally. Something you go through, you know, maybe you go through a divorce and I go through a divorce. You're upset, the way you handle it, you know, you might be very mature about it, even though you're tore up. And maybe the way I handle it, I'm a wreck. Maybe I cry and I start smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day and I drink coffee and I don't eat and I cry. Maybe I even try to kill myself. So emotionally, we do not handle things the same. We do not we do not enter the hermit phase the same, okay? Emotionally. There might be similar situations, but emotionally we are different. We walk this path alone and always have. This path is individual. Remember that. This path is individual. Our past life karma is not the same. I was a wreck. I have purged a lot of my past life karma in this lifetime. I know why. Because I cannot take that into the age of Aquarius. Everything from my past life. I had to purge a whole shitload of stuff in this lifetime because we are making cosmic history. We are entering a new age. Actually, we have entered a new age. We entered the age of Aquarius. We are at the beginning of a new eon. So we can't bring past life bullshit into this age. So you have to purge it. And chances are you're purging a whole shitload of stuff all at once. Everything's happening to you. It's a domino effect. You can't understand why, but now you know. It's because as you journey deeper into this new age, you have to get rid of a lot of the old you, a lot of your past life karma, your baggage that's holding you down. So I can't enter. So I know why I went through everything that I went through, as tough as I went through, as tough as it was for me. It's because I can't enter the age of Aquarius. I can't get into the golden age without purging all this out. Also, I feel I was being trained, you know, all of these lessons that I've experienced, all of this drama in my life, all of these things that I was challenged with, they were learning moments for me. They were moments to teach me. I feel like I was being trained. My training, these were my trainings, my lessons, and they're very helpful because they helped me learn, and now I'm teaching you guys. They're helpful for all of you that come across my channel because I'm sharing with you. And some of my teachings or advice or, the things that I talk about may resonate with you. And maybe I planted a seed. Maybe I changed one person's life, and that's okay if it's only one person. I might have 2,000 followers, and I may only change one person's life. But you know what? That one person will change somebody else's life. That one seed will grow and come into fruition, and that seed will plant another seed and another seed, and we will be a forest of souls teaching. Now, the hermit is healing you. Okay, going into this hermit phase is not a bad thing. The hermit is healing you. Surrender to it. This means letting go of the aspects of us that are attached to the old you, the old world. Surrendering is another way of saying that we need to let go of our personal will. If we allow our identity to dissolve and let go of our personal will, then life itself can flow through us and guide our movements. When we are able to surrender, the old identity, the old ego attached to you will have to let go. We begin falling in love with the space that life is bringing us. We begin to fall in love with ourselves. We no longer want anything, anything like ego desires. We no longer want anything. And when we don't want anything anymore, life will suddenly begin filling all of the space, that empty space, all of that space with divine gifts created uniquely for you. Falling in love with who you divinely are and no longer wanting anything allows for you to come into total alignment with your new life. It will start to feel normal, a new normal, and the pace will pick up again. This fast moving energy sweeps you away and everything just flows effortlessly until your ego pops up again. Another level. You've entered another level to your awakening. Okay? Until your ego pops up again. And it gets a taste of your new power and asks what it can get. Or how can it enhance itself with this powerful energy? That's ego talking. You are not totally healed. These healings will come in at different levels of your awakening. And when this happens, naturally, the flow slows down once again and life brings you more space because you're going to enter another hermit phase to let you go into so that the ego can be checked again, so you can grow, so you can heal. Essentially, it's showing signs of what needs to be healed next in the new stage of your awakening, in the new stage of your journey. You cannot bring in old aspects of your unhealed self to the golden age, to the age of Aquarius, to this new eon. If we find ourselves fighting with life for bringing us more space because we want the fast moving energy again, we can expect even more space until life has broken our personal will into a deeper surrender. Now, I'm a stubborn person, so I was against more time, more space. Okay, I was against more space, more time. More space and I did not get along. And I can tell you, it will take away everything it gave you to force yourself to surrender. But the tricky part is you have to surrender at will. The hermit will take away and give what it feels you need. Not what you want, but what you need. And because you have free will, the hermit is going to fuck your life up until you surrender. You will eventually get it. If you're a real knucklehead, real huge knucklehead, I mean, it could take you months. I mean, it could even take you years if you're a bonehead. If you're just stubborn, it could take you a week, a month. I could tell you, I went into the hermit phase for 5 years, but I had different levels of the hermit phase. Life didn't really just suck. It was getting better, but then I got comfortable in that hermit phase. But I came out of it. I'm all good. But you know what got me out of it? Getting into nature. Honestly, I moved from New York City to Western New York and getting out into nature. I didn't really want to get out into nature because I'm not really a country girl. Bugs and all that shit. But I started to learn a lot about nature, a lot about plants and animals, and I started to enjoy it. I started to get surrounded by monarch butterflies. Hummingbirds used to come and visit me and fly around my head. And I hung a whole bunch of hummingbird feeders outside, and then they would land on the feeder as I was holding it. If I put the feeder in my hand, they would land on my finger. I mean, life just started to become beautiful. And then I slowly came out of the hermit phase. But you guys, I am a knucklehead. I'm just stubborn. So it took me a long time. For some people, it only takes a month or so. And because we're on this whole quarantine, it's going to take as long as it needs to take. So you guys are just going to have to do what you need to do, to embrace what the whole collective is going through what the world is going through. Gaia herself is in a hermit phase. Therefore, we are all in a hermit phase, and this is something that has to be done because we're entering a new age. So Gaia can't take old shit into the new age. So she has to purge too. Do you guys get it? So, yeah. The hermit will take away and give what it feels you need. And then, as we fall back into love with ourselves again, and no longer want life, when we no longer want things, life will begin filling the space once more. And we will find ourselves in the ebb and flow of life again, feeling content and happy and joy and blissful and all that, all that great stuff, that greatness. You'll be stepping out of duality into a higher vibration that will bring you into a frequency of neutrality. Now, here are some signs that you are entering the hermit phase. Number 1, you become a loner. This is actually the number 1 and most obvious sign of the hermit phase. Everybody knows this. Everybody in the spiritual community knows this. People that are advanced in the spiritual community, they know this. This is the number one sign that, you are entering the hermit phase. Now, for me, I've always been a loner in a way. I had a lot of friends. I mingled in many different circles. The nerds, the jocks, the popular girls, different cliques. You know, I didn't belong to anybody. I mingled with everyone. I literally mingled in many different circles. But at the end of the day, I was a loner, drifting, filling my space. The hermit phase will, well, the hermit phase, it gets a little intense. It will intensify the loner feeling, okay? So even though I was a loner, it intensified my loner feeling. You'll feel the difference. You'll definitely feel the difference. Even though you're used to being a loner, if you're a loner, the hermit phase will make it so intense that you'll know you're a fucking loner. You won't be able to, fill space at will without surrendering. And don't use COVID as an excuse, okay? And when I say don't use COVID as an excuse, I mean like, don't say that you don't go to see your family because of the virus. Because I can tell you what, I go and I see people, I see my family, and I don't wear a mask. Unless they don't want to see me because I don't wear a mask. But for the most part, everybody in my family that I speak to, we don't wear masks. And we see each other and we're fine and none of us have been sick and we all go out and we do stuff in public. So I don't use COVID as an excuse. I still mingle and see people and, fill my time with seeing them. Um, I'm not allowing a virus to keep me away from my kids, my grandies, anything like that. So I don't use COVID as an excuse. If they're sick, of course, they stay home and they stay away from us, even if they just have a little cold. This is the season in the north that viruses tend to spread more easily because of, lack of sunshine, an increase in unhealthy food due to, the holidays and being cooped up in the house because it's too cold to go outside. A lot of people lack exercise. And then when we do that, our adrenal glands start to become, filled up and stagnant, and we're in need of movement, or our adrenal glands, they'll pool up with toxins. And that's how we get sick. And that's how a lot of people get sick very easily, and then it affects their gut health and yada, yada, yada. Okay? So don't use COVID as an excuse. If you're a loner by nature, and you're entering the hermit phase, I was going to say the Kermit phase, the hermit phase, it will intensify that loner feeling. If you're not a loner by nature, and you notice that you feel alone, it's because you're entering the hermit phase. All right, the next sign, number 2, that uh, the second sign that you're entering the hermit phase, your desires to do stuff fades. You have a hard time sticking to a goal or a project. One minute you have one goal, or one minute you're addicted to this one project, and the next minute you're jumping into another project, or you're setting a new goal. Maybe you get into arts and crafts. You're painting, and then you're creating, crafting. Or maybe you want to go, I don't know, you get a wild hair up your ass and you're like, I want to go back to work. I don't want to work remote from home, or I want to get off unemployment. So you go back to work. So you find a new job. And then you hate it. Of course you're going to hate it. There's not a lot of options out there right now anyways. And you want to You want a different one. Again, perhaps you were excited about moving to a new place in a new city, town, state, country. I don't know. A lot of people can't even leave the country. And then you decide you want something different when you get there. Um, or you have a goal, to run errands and get stuff done, and then you put it all off for another day because you procrastinate, because you'd rather watch TV or sleep or, I don't know, go back to crocheting a blanket. This is all completely normal. This is what makes this spiritual process so damn challenging. You know you need stability. You need to start living again, to feel normal again. But but it sometimes seems impossible when your mind changes all the time. You don't know what you want anymore. You're struggling to fill the space. Hold on, guys. I'm getting a message. So let me see. Hold on. Okay. The third sign that you're entering the hermit phase. You may drift away from family and friends. In my spiritual awakening, it's been an ongoing thing for me, honestly. My whole life, I've been going through a spiritual awakening. Most of my life unconsciously. I just had no idea I was going through it until now. Now I know what I was going through back then. Sorry if you hear me pausing, it's because I'm getting a message on my phone. This always happens to me. You guys know. For those of you that have been following me for a while, you guys just know that I always get interrupted by my phone. Nobody ever hits me up for anything when I'm not recording. But when I'm recording, everybody hits me up. But yeah. So I've been going through my spiritual awakening all of my life. I just didn't know I was doing it until I started to wake up consciously. Um, we all begin our journey at different times. And we also begin our journey at different ages in our life. It doesn't happen when you turn 25. It doesn't happen when you hit, 30. It's not something that you have to go through before you hit 50. Okay? It's whatever is in your soul contract. So we all go through our awakening at different times. And then, there are those that are going through it from birth. People like me. It's just a part of the soul's contract. I feel that, you know, that is mine. That is my contract. I made the decision to go through this awakening from birth. And a lot of the challenging things that I went through in my life were also challenges because I put them in place. Those were triggers to help wake me up, to help me remember who I am. So I tend to move a lot. I made the decision to move a lot every year. I was somewhere different. After I left home at 15, I lived in my house for 15 years. And then when I moved out and I turned 17, I went from New York to Florida. I've been to Florida, New York, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and in different places in the state of New York. So I was always moving around. I was a drifter. I've always been a drifter, a loner, a drifter, a drifter, a gypsy. I was a drifter by me moving so much. That was one of my ways of filling space. Not all the time, but most of the time, that was one of the ways of me filling space. I was away from everyone I knew, always. but I always met new people along the way. Drifting from family, can be healthy at times, especially if your family is very judgmental and negative. It can be healthy. Also, drifting from family can be healthy because family tends to mold you, and it's not your family's job to make you who you are supposed to be. It's your job to make you who you're supposed to be. A lot of the time, we carry our childhood drama and karma into our adulthood, and drifting away helps you heal that, especially if you are the black sheep. It helps you heal that aspect of you. The fourth sign that you could be going through the hermit phase or entering the hermit phase, you become more sensitive. You may be sensitive in crowds of people. I've always been a little sensitive. I started to become very hypersensitive in about 2013. I was always a little uneasy, but at one show with my husband, I nearly had a panic attack and wanted to go back to the hotel and be by myself because I just had enough of people. I got to the point that I stayed backstage when my husband got booked for shows, that I didn't want to come out with him anymore. I just wanted to stay backstage or in the VIP area. I refused to mingle and network. And that was part of my job, was to network. And in about 2013, I just started to get uneasy around people, and I just didn't want to people anymore. So you may be very sensitive to all kinds of energies, cosmic energies, man-made energies, and other people's energy. Many people who go through the spiritual awakening are empaths. So know that you're not alone. If you're feeling this way, you're not alone. Also, I want to let you guys know, we are all empaths, actually. If you have a soul, you are an empath. You probably just don't know it, but you're an empath. Some of us are just more aware that we're empathic, okay? For me, I am an intuitive empath, but we are all empathic. If you have a soul, you are an empath. We all have the ability to be an empath. It's your birthright for every single person that has a soul. There are many things you can do to relieve these symptoms of the hermit phase. For me, it's yoga and meditation. And I used to think that yoga and meditation was so cliche. But then I started following Yoga with Adriene, and she actually taught me a lot in yoga, and I actually enjoy it now. I'm actually starting to do another 30-day challenge with her. I follow her on YouTube and do her 30-day challenges, her 30-day yoga journeys every year, every new year, every January on the 2nd until the end of the month. I started to learn to meditate by searching for guided meditation videos on YouTube, and I searched and searched and searched until I found guided meditation videos that resonated with me, and now I just do my own meditation, and I just go outside in nature, and there's so many different ways that you can meditate, and I talk about that on my channel. I'll do more videos, updated videos of how to meditate and how to ground yourself and all that. Also, if you start eating cleaner, that will help you, whatever that means to you. Change your eating habits. If you're a person that eats a lot of sugar, cut down on your sugar. If you eat a lot of junk food, cut down on your junk food and start introducing more like vegetables and stuff like that, fruits into your diet. Being out in nature can help you. It helped me. It helped me a lot. Listening to music that makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be, that monk meditation music. It doesn't have to be listening to flutes and singing bowls and all that, spiritual guru music, all that stuff. You can literally listen to heavy metal if that's what makes you feel good. You can listen to classic rock if it makes you feel good. Whatever makes you feel good. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't listen to this or you can't listen to that because this and that is bad for you. Don't listen to that jazz. You listen to yourself, okay? If it makes you feel good, then you listen to it. You know, spending time with your pets can help you through this, to ease the pain of this hermit phase. Getting a pet can help you. Exercising can help you. Being with somebody that you trust, like trusted friends and trusted family. You know, people that can help you raise your vibration, that make you laugh, that make you feel comfortable and safe. They make you feel good. We're constantly learning, growing, and becoming stronger because each struggle brings strength. Every lesson is a blessing. You are not alone in this spiritual journey. You do walk your own path individually, but you're not alone. I hope that this video helped you and resonated with you. Again, if you want to search for more of my videos, go to my YouTube channel. My name is Witchy Vibes 11. And if you want to email me, my email address is at the bottom of all of my videos. I offer services. I am an ascension guide. I do offer that service by donation only. I also do numerology readings for $11.11. It's an energy exchange. I also do tarot readings and past life readings, oracle card readings. So if you're interested in that, definitely email me. I offer a few things that I make. I make body sprays, room sprays, personalized mojo dolls, personalized salt baths. There's so many things that I offer for you guys. And if you're interested and you have questions, please just email me. If you feel guided to donate to my channel, that's amazing. You know, all donations are accepted. I do accept donations via PayPal and Cash App. But my favorite donation is a time donation. A time donation is you using your time to write me a letter or to send me something via snail mail. I love you guys. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Stay safe.